Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel, and in today's video, I want to share with you the first thing that I did in order to start my dumpster rental business, and we'll go ahead and get right into the video. So the big question, what was the very first thing that I did in order to start my dumpster rental business, just in the planning stages? And the very first thing that I did was I decided on a type of business. And there are several different types of businesses, and we're going to go into those here in a little bit. I first had to just look at the overall industry. I wanted to look at the survivability, the long-term possibilities with this type of business. And so I do have some other videos for that, just kind of talking about my very beginning stages, just even considering it. And so I do have a few other videos where I just talk about the thought process behind jumping into this industry, specifically why I chose it, why I think it's always going to have a need in the market, why dumpster rental businesses will always be in demand, and why personally I am choosing to get into this type of industry. So if you're interested in those videos, I'll put those up above here. But in today's video, deciding on the type of business is the first thing that I did in my process of starting my dumpster rental business. And I think this is a key thing you really shouldn't skip over. You shouldn't just go jumping right into things before you really know what you're getting into. And you really need to decide what type of business you're wanting to run to operate this type of business, especially when it grows and grows and grows, hopefully down the road. So the type of business is what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk through the reasoning for me, why I chose the type of business that I did. And we're going to talk about the reasoning why I chose this type of business to be able to operate the dumpster rental business. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So when I started looking into the different businesses that you can operate legally, there are four main businesses that you can operate. First of all, there's just a simple sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is something where it's just simply run off of your own income, your own taxes. All the income comes directly to you. All the taxes come directly out of your account as well. Everything is linked to you. It's one person operating the entire business. You're not answering to anybody else. It's simply you calling all the shots, but also you have all of the liability. You have all of the potential for issues down the road, but it's kind of a give and take between those two things. You having full control over all these things being linked to your accounts, to your taxes. You can write off the business taxes and offset other things for your own personal income, maybe from another job. So there's definitely advantages and maybe disadvantages with a sole proprietorship. That is not what I chose to do, but that's going to be the quickest and easiest option for you if you are wanting to jump in full steam ahead into this type of industry. A sole proprietorship is going to be very quick. You're not going to have to fill out any forms. You're simply just going to add all the income and expenses directly to your taxes at the end of the year and put that together. So that is the sole proprietorship, and that's something I did not choose. The second type of business that you can run your dumpster rental business off of is a partnership. It's essentially you partnering with someone else, some other person or persons, I believe, where you can run it together. And it would come with its own advantages and disadvantages with taxes, with being able to call the shots, what you're wanting to do with the assets of the company, and many of those things. So partnership is number two. I did not choose partnership as the type of business because I'm the only one operating this business. There is literally no one else. So I didn't choose partnership as the type of business for my dumpster rental business. So the third option is a limited liability company. And an LLC is what it's called, is something that basically separates your personal liability from the entity of the LLC. So basically it takes its own liability. Anything that's done for the company, it takes its own liability on itself. So let's just say someone slips and falls and hurts themselves while doing something reckless or not on your dumpster trailer, or maybe you get into an accident and you're traveling with the dumpster trailer, you're doing work for the LLC, for the company, and someone sues you from the accident. Well, essentially with an LLC, any liability, any type of damages or money owed or any claims like that essentially would be paid from, and only could be paid from, the LLC, not from your personal assets, no money that you have, your home, your car, any of those things. And an LLC simply absorbs those types of liabilities from you, setting you apart from that company, from the entity of the business, that LLC. So for me, this is the option that I chose. I wanted to limit my personal liability from the entity, from the business. Even though I'm operating the business, I'm doing the business, I'm hauling with my truck and my trailer, going around town, the business would be the thing that suffers, not me and my personal assets, my home, my bank account, any of those things. The LLC would be absorbing any of those blows financially, any of those types of things, not me myself. So an LLC also has some other perks. Depending on the situation, it can be taxed as a sole proprietorship. It can be taxed as a partnership. Or a corporation. So it does have some tax incentives. It's kind of a newer type of business compared to maybe these other things that have been more long-term mainstream in business as a type of business. So an LLC is the thing that I chose. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you why at the end of this video, the bullet points of why I chose the LLC. The fourth option that you have in running your dumpster rental business as a type of business is going to be a corporation. Now, first of all, corporations, I believe, cost a lot more money to start, to create it. They pay more in taxes, and it's going to be a much bigger operation and expensive to get started. But a corporation is something that you can run your business as a dumpster rental business in, and it can be an option for you if you're probably running a much bigger option, or maybe you have a lot more capital to start out as a bigger operation. Maybe you have multiple people involved. Maybe you have shareholders. You have people involved that are going to be getting a piece of the pie from the sole proprietorship, the partnership, the LLC, and then to a corporation. A corporation is going to be the thing furthest away from you personally being on the hook financially, linked to all of your other accounts, to your taxes, to all those different things. A corporation is actually considered a real person itself, in the fact that it pays its own personal income tax because of how far away it's actually connected from real people who started it, who are running it. And so a corporation is the furthest away and really the most expensive. There are many different advantages and disadvantages to all four of these options. You should look further into these things, but I just want to share with you why I chose the LLC. And so all four of these things, from the sole proprietor to the corporation, have their disadvantages and their advantages. And so I just wanted to share with you what we have to work with in starting a dumpster rental business, and I want to share with you why I chose the LLC. So I'll just kind of share with you my personal reasons now as we kind of wrap this up. So the first and biggest reason why I chose the limited liability company is because I wanted to limit my liability to the company, to anything that the company does. I wanted to keep the company away from my own personal assets. I wanted to limit the exposure from myself and the actual company operating, even though I would be operating it. I wanted to limit myself from those things in case there were ever some issues down the road or some catastrophic problem that may arise in the future. And so that's the biggest reason why. The second reason why I chose to do this LLC is because I am a single owner. I could have done a sole proprietorship, but I wouldn't have been able to have the limited liability. The LLC still allows me, with that limited liability, to still just be one person who operates the LLC. I don't have to have a partner. I don't have to have shareholders. I don't have to have all these other people involved. I still have full control of the business operating itself. With an LLC, I do have the option to be able to, in the future, be able to add more people to it if I wanted to. That's my choice. I'm not forced into anything. I have options. And so with an LLC, I wanted to be able to limit myself, yes, but I wanted to have options down the road, whether that was adding more people or growing the business in general. And so that's another reason why I chose an LLC. So next up is going to be the time and the cost it takes to create an LLC. For me in my state, it cost about $95 to start. It was about 24 hours from the time I started doing everything on the computer to when I got the email confirming everything, getting my EIN number, and everything already done and completed. And so for me, the time and the cost was just so very quick compared to, I believe, a corporation takes much longer. I don't have a partner, so I couldn't have done the partner, and I knew I had to have the liability, the limited liability. So for me, the LLC was just the way to go. The cost was very cheap, and it was very, very quick to be able to start an LLC. So that was another factor in everything. It's not exactly a deal breaker just because it takes time to start something up, but for me, that was just an added bonus to the LLC. And so finally, the reason why I went with a LLC for starting my dumpster rental business is because of taxes. I don't want to go too far deep into those things because things can change with taxes. Different states can have different rules and different things in that. But across the board, having an LLC gives more options for different tax incentives, tax reasons to be able to write things off, and to be able to operate the business. So these are my reasons why I went with an LLC. And overall, these are the 4 main types of businesses that you could start your dumpster rental business underneath as that type of business. So I hope this video was a help to you. I know for me, I really wanted to do my research. I wanted to find out what type of business can I operate underneath. What's the best fit for me? Maybe for you, it's a sole proprietorship. You're not worried about the limited liability issue. Maybe you have a partner. Maybe you have someone who you want to get into business with and to be able to team up and to be able to tackle things together and be able to have a working relationship together with that. Or maybe you've got much more bigger capital, you've got a bigger operation going on, and you want to operate a corporation. I do know there are multiple types of corporations, which I really didn't want to get into much in this video. I did just want to mention that, but if you have more questions about any of these things, please seek out someone who's a professional in these types of areas, whether it's for taxes or legal reasons or any number of those things. I'm not a tax professional. I'm not anybody like that. I'm just a guy who can read the internet and kind of go through things and decide for myself. So anyways, this is the reason why I went with an LLC. These are the 4 main ways you can start your dumpster rental business. So if I was a help to you today, just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you got good value. And so in the coming videos, I really hope to be able to help you talk through and maybe work through looking at the different types of brands of trailers that are out there. And so I just want to share with you kind of my research, what I kind of found online, especially in today's current situation with things going on in our country and around the world. And so hopefully after sharing with you my first step into getting into this dumpster rental business, that this can help you take that first step forward yourself. That you would look into these different types of businesses, that you would be cautious before you just jump into just operating as a sole proprietorship or a limited liability. Maybe you want it to be a partnership. Whatever that may be, take your time, be careful. These things matter, especially when it comes to tax time, for legal reasons down the road. And so take your time. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And hopefully this will help you. Stay safe, guys, and God bless.